Is it time for the Los Angeles Lakers to forgive, forget, and trade for the one man who famously poked a bear? What happens when the answer to your biggest, most glaring weakness is a player your franchise icon has publicly beef with? This isn't just a trade rumor, Laker Nation. This is a loyalty test, a question of pragmatism versus pride, and it's a scenario that could define our entire season. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a story that sounds like it was written in a lab to test the absolute limits of Laker fandom. The front office has assembled a titan of a team on paper. You have the living legend in LeBron James. You have a generational offensive engine in Luka Doncic. You've solidified the paint with DeAndre Ayton. The pieces are there for a juggernaut. But every Laker fan watching this knows our weak spot. It's the open secret, the flashing red light on the dashboard, our perimeter defense. Right now, we are built to outscore everyone. But what happens when we run into a team with an elite wing who can't be stopped? What's the plan for the Devin Bookers, the Kevin Durants, the Kawhi Leonards of the world? Unless Luka Doncic suddenly transforms into Gary Payton overnight, we are vulnerable. And with limited trade assets, Rob Pelinka can't just snap his fingers and acquire a superstar defender. The options are scarce, which leads us to a potential trade partner in the desert and a name that will make half of you cheer and the other half cringe. Dillon Brooks. Yes, that Dillon Brooks. And today we're going to break down exactly why this insane idea might just be the genius move we need. First, let's set the stage and be brutally honest about our roster construction. The offensive potential is staggering. A LeBron-Luka pick and roll is the stuff of nightmares for opposing coaches. Ayton provides a legitimate lob threat, an interior presence we've craved. But look at the rest of the lineup. Jake LaRavia is a floor spacer, not a stopper. Austin Reeves is a competitor. But you don't want him as your primary defender on the other team's best player every single night. The problem is clear. We have an imbalance. We're a high-performance race car with world-class acceleration but questionable brakes. In the regular season, that might be enough to win 50 games. But in a 7-game playoff series, a weakness like that isn't just a crack. It's a canyon that a championship-caliber team will exploit relentlessly. The front office knows this. We've heard the whispers about Andrew Wiggins, but that seems like a pipe dream with Golden State. So where do they turn? According to Lakers insider Jovan Buha, the answer might lie with a division rival, the Phoenix Suns. The Suns are in a fascinating position. After going all in for Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal, they have a star-studded roster, but are incredibly top-heavy. They're a team that might need to shed some salary and acquire team-friendly deals or young assets to build out their depth. And sitting on their roster are two intriguing defensive wings, Royce O'Neal and, more importantly for this discussion, Dillon Brooks. Buha floated the idea on his podcast, wondering if Phoenix might underperform and look to make moves. He said, does Phoenix, I guess, eventually realize they're not going to be a play-in team? And does Dillon Brooks become available? Or I like Royce O'Neal as a backup. But ideally, you get a starter. Let's quickly touch on O'Neal. He's a solid 3-and-D guy, a professional, and he'd absolutely make the team better. He's on a more manageable contract than Brooks and wouldn't cause any locker room drama. He's a safe choice. He's a sensible choice. But is he the impact choice? Is he the player who strikes fear into the heart of an opposing scorer? Probably not. And that brings us back to the main event, Dillon Brooks. The villain, the agitator, the man who called LeBron James old and tried to turn a playoff series into a personal war. Forgetting all of that for a second, let's look at the player. Brooks is an all-defensive talent. He takes on the toughest defensive assignment every single night and does it with a manic energy that can change the complexion of a game. He is precisely the type of player you hate playing against but would absolutely love to have on your team. Last season, he also had the best shooting year of his career, proving he can be more than just a defensive specialist. He is the embodiment of the dirty work guy, a pest who gets under people's skin and welcomes the challenge of guarding the league's elite. He is, on paper, the perfect puzzle piece for a Luka-led team that needs a lockdown defender who can also hit an open three. So, if he's such a perfect fit, what would it cost? The proposed trade simulation floating around is a fascinating one. The Lakers would send Rui Hachimura and the rookie Dalton Connect. to the Phoenix Suns in exchange for Dillon Brooks. Let's break this down from both sides. For the Lakers, this is a tough pill to swallow emotionally, but it makes a ton of sense strategically. Rui Hachimura was a playoff hero for us, and we love him. But in this scenario, he's on the last year of his contract. Trading him now for a player who feels a greater need on a multi-year deal is a logical, albeit painful, asset management move. Dalton Connect, the rookie, is a talented scorer, but the report notes he might not be a great defensive fit alongside Doncic and Reeves. If that's the internal evaluation, using him to acquire an elite defender while keeping our future draft picks is a shrewd move. We would be trading a known quantity and a prospect for a definitive upgrade at our position of greatest need. From the Suns' perspective, it's also compelling. They get off of Brooks' multi-year contract and get the expiring deal of Hachimura, giving them future financial flexibility. Plus, they get a young prospect in Connect who they can develop alongside Devin Booker and Jalen Green. It's a move that helps them now by getting a solid player in Rui and helps them later by adding a cost-controlled young talent. The framework of this deal is sound. But we can't ignore the giant 6'8", four-time MVP elephant in the room. The history between LeBron James and Dillon Brooks isn't just some minor dust-up. It was a headline-grabbing personal rivalry. Would LeBron sign off on bringing his chief antagonist into his own locker room? This is where the new reality of the Lakers has to come into play. The news report makes a crucial point. If the Lakers are truly committed to making Luka Doncic the centerpiece of this franchise, they have to start making decisions that are best for Luka's game. Luka thrived in Dallas when he was surrounded by defenders and shooters like Dorian Finney-Smith. Dillon Brooks is essentially a supercharged version of that player archetype. The question for the front office and for LeBron himself becomes, is personal history more important than building the most optimal roster around your new co-star? Winning a championship often requires uncomfortable alliances. It requires putting the team's needs above personal feelings. If LeBron James is truly committed to winning ring number 5, he might have to swallow his pride and welcome his old nemesis with open arms. So, here's the bottom line. The Los Angeles Lakers have a championship-level offense and a playoff-level defense. To become a true title favorite, that has to change. A trade for a player like Dillon Brooks, as shocking as it sounds, addresses that weakness head-on. The proposed trade package is realistic and it allows the Lakers to improve significantly without mortgaging their future draft capital. The only real obstacle is the human element, the history, the drama. But championships aren't won by making friends. They're won by making bold, sometimes difficult, decisions. They are won by identifying a weakness and ruthlessly fixing it. Acquiring Dillon Brooks will be the ultimate ruthless move, a signal to the rest of the NBA that the Lakers are willing to do whatever it takes and partner with whomever it takes to get back to the top of the mountain. This is a wild one, Laker Nation, and I honestly don't know where I land on it myself. So I have to ask you, would you welcome Dillon Brooks in purple and gold for a shot at banner number 19? Or is that a line you just can't cross? No matter how good he is on defense? Let me know your unfiltered thoughts in the comments below. And if this kind of deep dive analysis is what you come here for, do me a favor and hit that like button. It lets me know we're on the right track. Until next time,